That lawnmower, that's it. Start that.
Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know.
And made a post and basically told Roach. He tagged Lamar Roach and he said, "Look, you're not getting that fight with Tank."
A day in Gervonta Tank Davis' training camp for his upcoming clash with Jake Paul is centered on discipline and intensity. Every session is designed to sharpen his speed, increase his power, and maintain peak conditioning. Whether it's long conditioning routines or high-level sparring, Davis approaches each workout with full concentration, blocking out anything that could take his mind off the goal. His preparation reflects a clear message. He's committed to proving he's ready for the challenge ahead. Meanwhile, Rolando Romero has shared his perspective on the matchup. He pointed out that Davis' reputation and legacy are already well established, regardless of what happens in the fight with Paul. As a decorated world champion, Tank doesn't need this bout to validate his career. Still, Romero admitted that Jake's size could play a role, since Paul naturally carries a larger frame. Even so, Romero made it clear that this doesn't take away from Tank's accomplishments or the respect he's already earned in boxing. Pauli Malignaggi has weighed in on the matchup, stressing that experience carries more weight than size in boxing. He acknowledged Jake Paul's growing popularity and physical advantages, but emphasized that those factors alone don't win fights at the elite level. According to Malignaggi, Gervonta Davis has already proven himself on some of the sport's biggest stages, taking on top-tier opponents and thriving under pressure. While Jake may hold the edge in natural size, Malignaggi argues that he can't replicate Davis' years of training, tactical awareness, and ability to adjust inside the ring. His viewpoint underscores a classic boxing truth. Skill and experience often tip the scales more than raw physical presence.
Paul might be too big for him, but Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or it's an exhibition. We don't know if they throw at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
You know, some people trying to give, that's fair, some people trying to give Tank a hard time. They're saying he should have took a fight with Lamar Roach or Shakur Stevenson. But when you think about it, do you think this is business and look, he's getting a bag, or is there some validity to people saying that he ducked Roach?
I mean, there's still other options, you know. It's bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or all this stuff, right?
Teofimo Lopez views the matchup more as a spectacle than a traditional sporting contest. From his perspective, this isn't about titles, rankings, or cementing legacies. It's primarily about entertainment and financial reward. He points out that both Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are set to earn massive paydays, which is an important part of the equation. While Lopez admits the fight doesn't carry the prestige of a world championship bout, he still considers it beneficial for boxing. By capturing mainstream attention, even a showcase-style event like this can bring in fresh audiences and expand the sport's reach.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. Yeah. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you, you can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah, but if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion of multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside as boxers, me and Chris Algieri, the champ, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience. So we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you, you're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public, so there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, Mike?
Nate Diaz, true to his straightforward style, has brushed off the matchup altogether. In his view, the fight holds little real sporting value. Diaz argues that regardless of the winner, neither man's career gains any meaningful boost from the result. To him, it feels more like a staged attraction than a serious competition, something closer to entertainment shows or wrestling storylines than a legitimate boxing contest. His take strips away the buzz and frames the fight as more spectacle than sport.
Really invested on it, and I'm actually very happy for Gervonta and Jake. I really am, man. It's good for the sport in some way, you know?
So a heavyweight versus a lightweight.
Yeah.
You got a fly hit me, yeah. A heavyweight versus a lightweight. How's this gonna work?
Hey, they make it work. It's an exhibition for a reason. So, you know, they know what they're doing. And, you know, shout out to Netflix and shout out to both of them, honestly. Like I said, I think a lot of people in the boxing world are kind of upset. I could care less. I think they're going to go out there and make their money. It falls on the number 8 for a reason. They're going to make a lot of money.
Have you got a prediction for that fight?
My prediction? A show.
Well, clearly it's a show, but when you've got a lot of people underestimating Jake Paul once again, but when you've got a heavyweight boxer who knows how to throw punches and knows the basics against a lightweight, it's quite a difference. I mean, have you sparred heavyweights before?
Yeah.
For competitive sparring in the ring?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, not at all. Definitely got to move. I've actually played around a few times, went through between their legs just to duck around. But yeah, because they're taller, you know. But I think for that competition, that fight, it reminds me a lot like The Big Show, and Floyd Mayweather when they fought in WrestleMania.
Yeah. And will that end the same way?
Possibly. Maybe some brass knuckles in there too.
Can you see Jake Paul knocking out Gervonta Davis?
It's boxing, man. And if it's a show like this, anything goes, anything happens.
Jeff Mayweather shares a similar skepticism to Nate Diaz, openly questioning the purpose of the matchup. He views the pairing of a proven world champion like Gervonta Tank Davis with Jake Paul, a YouTuber-turned boxer, as an odd choice. While Mayweather recognizes the financial motives behind the event, he still feels it doesn't make much sense from a competitive standpoint. His comments mirror the frustration and confusion voiced by many traditional boxing fans who struggle to understand the appeal of crossover bouts like this.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think.
He's just too small.
It just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think. My thoughts on it is let's watch it, see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. Do you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE, so
right.
It's like, at least that's happening and it's getting something to talk about, something to watch, and I'm looking forward to that fight.
KSI, who has first-hand experience in the influencer boxing world, offered his perspective on Jake Paul's promotional style. He argued that talk of Paul facing Anthony Joshua was never a serious possibility, but rather a marketing ploy to create buzz and capture attention. From KSI's standpoint, the matchup with Gervonta Tank Davis fits into the same pattern, a move aimed more at generating headlines than chasing genuine heavyweight-level competition. His comments highlight the showmanship and calculated hype that often drive modern boxing promotions.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting, but I mean, it really makes no sense because he's gonna be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank is gonna probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
BJ Flores, who has worked closely with Jake Paul as his trainer, takes a far more optimistic view of the situation. He believes Jake's true future in the sport lies at cruiserweight and heavyweight, where his natural size will serve him best. Still, Flores admits that stepping into the ring with a fighter of Gervonta Tank Davis' caliber is a major opportunity. In his eyes, the Davis fight boosts Jake's credibility and visibility, helping set the stage for bigger challenges against larger opponents down the line. Rather than being the final destination, Flores frames this matchup as a stepping stone in Jake's broader boxing journey.
I knew AJ and Jake was never going to happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought it was actually going to happen? Bro, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like so many people just believe everything.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like I know. Well, okay, how do I say it like this? Itoma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White winning. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? You just look at a record and go, oh, Dylan's fought many more people than Itoma. That record says a lot. Itoma's like 18, not 18, Itoma's 20, inexperienced, One run. Like, I just knew Itoma was gonna just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Itoma would be him and Wilder. I think that'd be a very good fight.
Veteran boxing journalist Gareth A. Davies has been outspoken in his disapproval of the upcoming matchup, calling it more of a circus attraction than a legitimate contest. In his view, the fight may succeed in grabbing mainstream attention, but it comes at the cost of boxing's credibility. Davies argues that the significant difference in natural weight and divisions takes away the essence of fair competition, turning the event into a money-driven spectacle rather than a sporting test. He warns that as boxing leans further into entertainment-first events, the sport risks alienating purists and long-term fans who value merit and competitive balance. Still, Davies admits that controversy itself often acts as a powerful marketing tool, and fights like this, however criticized, inevitably generate massive buzz.
That's a funny story. So one of my good friends, Armani, he has been working with Jake Paul for the last 2 years. There was a little time where Shane wasn't there with Jake, and Armani called me up and said, hey, BJ, will you come down to Big Bear and spar with Jake? And I'm like, you want me to spar with Jake? I'm thinking to myself, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, he's beating up all his sparring partners. I was like, all right, I mean, fine, I'll go down there and do it. I have been inactive. I haven't done anything for like 8 months, but I was like, okay, I'll go down there. So we spar a couple times. After that, they decided I was too big for him, and it's better if we just not do it. And, then they asked me if I would be interested in like working the mitts with him and helping him with the combinations, because I was hitting him with some combinations they hadn't seen before. And I said we can teach him all those things and have him doing all those things. And so I started working the mitts with him and helping him out on the mitts. And he told his trainers and everybody, they're like, man, I want BJ around for the entire camp because I'm getting better. My job is like Shane does the advice in the corner and I do the mitts.
When it comes to Jake Paul, the financial draw is undeniable. Everyone involved knows there are millions on the line whenever he steps into the ring. Because of that, no fighter is likely to turn down the opportunity. Still, Fernando Vargas Jr. takes a different angle, pointing out the element of surprise surrounding this matchup. He admits that the fight caught people off guard, and that unexpected factor alone makes it intriguing. According to Vargas Jr., fans are drawn to novelty, and this bout delivers exactly that. Whether it's ultimately viewed as positive or negative, the shock factor ensures the fight remains a hot topic in the boxing world.
I think we've gone out of the frying pan and into the fire because we thought we were going to get Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua very soon. We'll speak to Frank Smith about that in the next section, obviously. Eddie Hearn was teasing it to me personally last week. £80 million on the table for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul. But 8 inches in height difference, 7 weight divisions between them, 5 stone, 70 pounds between them. It's a joke. It's a circus fight as opposed to a disgrace of a fight, which was Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. at least you feel in this, you've got quite a poor, very big one against a pound-for-pound, brilliant, unbeaten little un. And the little un who'll come up to his navel will hit him with a lot of body shots. I said in the week to Danny Kelly and Charlie Brooker that, do I mean Charlie Brooker? No,
Baker.
Charlie Baker. That Charlie Brooker's a different person altogether. That he'll be throwing the Superman punch, the leaping left hook. It's going to be a very odd thing. It's called, in inverted commas, an exhibition bout. But everybody in boxing who is a name doesn't mind going in with Jake Paul because they know they're making millions of dollars. And that's the only reason that Gervonta Davis, who's being called the poison little elf by Jake Paul, and it'll be fun in the build-up. Everybody in boxing knows they're guaranteed to make millions of those silverbacks, those greenback notes that they give out in America, and they give them out for fun when Jake Paul fights. So he's not going to say no to it. But can you pick a winner in that fight?
I don't want
Wade Plem suggests that Jake Paul has injected new energy into boxing by drawing in fans who might not have otherwise followed the sport. He notes that Paul's influence is particularly strong among younger audiences who gravitate toward entertainment-focused events rather than traditional matchups. While purists dismiss these fights as gimmicks, Wade views them as part of boxing's natural evolution. In his eyes, the clash with Gervonta Tank Davis continues that trend by pulling mainstream attention, even if it stirs controversy. For him, the bigger picture is about growing the sport's reach and cultural relevance, which he argues outweighs concerns about authenticity. Many analysts, however, emphasize that this fight is less about competitive merit and more about business. From their perspective, Jake Paul stands to benefit the most simply by sharing the ring with an established world champion like Tank Davis.
The way we dress, or this generation, as far as like fighters, they relate to more who's more popular. That's why we're seeing the Jake Paul versus Gervonta fight, which is, bro, that's crazy to me because we would never see that. And back in my dad's day, but now we're getting this, and it's just like, fuck it. I mean, people are gonna see it, bro. So it is what it is. But whether people know him more or not, or me, it doesn't matter. I know that he's coming, and he's coming game, and he wants to make a statement as well. So we're just coming to interrupt those plans. This is boxing, and I'm so excited to demonstrate my skills. I could box, I could counterpunch, I could bang when I want to, and I'm gonna demonstrate that. I'm gonna do what I want to do in there. Come September 13th.
Yeah, we spoke about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But it's a 10-round fight. Could be a different pace of a fight. But what do you think is like the key for you to get this win, regardless if it's a knockout or if it goes all 10 rounds?
I think just be smart. Be in there, be smart, be first, and do what I do. I think if I try to do a little too much, like my dad says, when you try doing too much, it looks you're trying too hard. So only thing I gotta do is just come in the best shape possible. If it goes 10 rounds, then it goes 10 rounds. We're doing 12 rounds of sparring, so if it needs to go to 10 rounds, we'll have the gas tank to go. I don't know if he's gone a full 10 rounds. I haven't, so it'll be something for fight day. If we do end up going the distance, then we end up going the distance.
For Jake Paul, the matchup offers huge rewards in terms of visibility, legitimacy, and financial success. Analysts suggest that regardless of the outcome, it's a carefully planned step to grow his brand, reach a larger audience, and open the door to more lucrative opportunities in the sport. The fight also has ripple effects across the boxing world. For example, with Gervonta Tank Davis locked into this bout, a potential rematch with Lamont is no longer on the immediate horizon. Still, experts point out that Lamont isn't left without options. There are plenty of alternative matchups that could continue to build his career. This highlights how crossover fights like Paul versus Davis can shake up the traditional boxing schedule, closing some doors while creating fresh opportunities for others.
Man, that's the circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Yeah. Y'all gonna try to, who's 200 pounds? Just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circus, and that's what they want to do, to get money, to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. he was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say Lamont Roach.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. Until next time, stay tuned.